Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dadas Show, coming to you from Ma Hotel and Suites here in Nairobi. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbune. Now, the Dadas Show aspires to promote the spirit of sisterhood amongst Kenyan women. And we do this by creating an open and safe platform for women to discuss all issues pertaining to their health, their lifestyle, their careers, and anything that matters to them. Now, Kenyans embraced entrepreneurship in the 1970s. Many people started enterprises, of course, to create job opportunities and to develop the country. However, a majority of Kenyans over the time have always opted and have always preferred employment. If COVID-19 pandemic taught us anything, it is the importance of self-reliance. When the global economies plummeted, many found themselves without a source of income. So households that had, double incomes then could only have one. And of course, Kenyans were forced to come out of their comfort zone and tap into the innovations. This, of course, led into an increase of small businesses, not only in Kenya, but around the world. That said, the move from being an entrepreneur, from being an employee into an entrepreneur is not one that is taken lightly, especially for us women. There are multiple factors that we have to consider. What is our availability? What is our societal and our familial expectations? What is our resources looking like? So all of these things have to be taken into consideration before taking the plunge. So today we are dedicating this episode to those who have been able to take the plunge, who have moved from employment into entrepreneurship. And of course, how did they do it? How do they get to where they are right now? What are some of the challenges and milestones that they faced? And how to, if you're at home wondering, how can I move? When should I move? The whys, the what ifs, the whens, then this is definitely a show for you. As always, we encourage you at home to take part in this conversation by joining us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Let us know what you think of this episode and any other episode for that matter. Give us your questions, your feedback, your comments, your reactions. We are definitely looking forward to reading them later on. Now, before we jump into this conversation today, let's take a look at the following feature.
Transition from employment to entrepreneurship is one that can be compared to onions. They are complex and there's usually a lot more to them than we see on the surface. Whether you're pursuing a passion or side hustle, confused about quitting your job for a new one, or just looking for a change, know that it's not a straightforward decision. It requires careful planning and thinking through the why, the what, and the when. For Jacqueline, dealer of Gold and Star Cakes, it was a leap of faith. After being employed for 4 years, she quit a well-paying job and decided to turn her passion into her full-time job.
Kwa majina ni Jacqueline Dealer kutoka Buruburu, na mimi hutengeneza cakes. Niko hapa Buruburu phase 4, Golden Star Cakes, that's my name. Na nilipenda kazi ya keki kutoka nikiwa mtoto mdogo, nikiwa class 6. Na nikajifunza, I used to bake at home kidogo kidogo, na hiyo kupika na makaa kiasi, then nikapenda kupika keki kabisa. Then after that nilijoin colleges kadhaa kama 2-3, but sikuwa satisfied pia sababu hawakuni train what I wanted. From that nilipata job Nairobi, then nikapata more skills than what I had. Na niliwork for like 3 to 4 years. Then nikaona siko satisfied sana nikiwa nimeajiriwa. So nilikuwa natafuta pia clients wangu nikiwa huko job. So with the time ukapata I have more clients, nikaona I can start my own business. Na that's why nilitoka nika resign job na immediately nilistart job yangu. So nikiwa job nilikuwa nimeweka capital kiasi, sikuwa na mingi. So after that nikaenda nikanunua kitu moja moja, nikaanza na jiko, nikanunua mixer, nikaanza tins kidogo kidogo. Though before nilikuwa natumia sufuria. But with the time nikajua sasa naweza afford kununua the tins. Nikaenda nikanunua kiasi, but now I have more, niko na almost kila kitu. Then nikapata place ya kuweka job. Though before nieke, I used to work at home for 4 years. Nikaona kazi imekuwa mingi, so kudeal na kazi, watoto wako hapo, nikaona naweza mess kiasi. So nikatafuta shop hapa Buruburu phase 4 na nikaanza kazi yangu kidogo kidogo, watu wakaanza kunijua. Up to now, at least I thank God imeshika.
Starting any business requires careful planning, thinking, and a number of other factors that need to be considered.
After umetoka job, hauko sure huku nje kuko aje. Ulikuwa unalipwa mshahara, saa hii umeacha completely, umetoka kwa job. Ujui ukianza utaendelea aje, kutakuwa aje. But thank God si kufail. Nilipata clients na ile referrals, hiyo ndio iliniokoa zaidi. Yeah.
Being employed usually comes with job security, a steady income, and additional benefits, but for Jacqueline, she was more interested in the freedom of being her own boss.
Kuna tofauti kubwa, once kama umeajiriwa na kama uko self-employed. One, ukiwa umeajiriwa hauna freedom zako. 2, ukiwa umeajiriwa hata ukipata oda yako huwezi enda kufanya na uko nje. Itakuwa very tricky. So, ukiwa uko na job yako peke yako ni very easy kudeal nayo, uko na freedom na pia pesa unapata more than yenye ulikuwa umeajiriwa nayo. Yeah.
Making the switch from employee to the uncertain world of entrepreneurship can seem scary. Social media has made entrepreneurship seem alluring now more than ever. However, this cannot be an enough reason why you are making the switch. You have to live for the right reason strong enough to keep you going when things get hard.
Advantages za kufungua shop zinasaidia mtu sababu one, kuna walk-ins. So biashara for now si mbaya. Weddings unapata birthdays. Okay, all like occasions. So unapata kazi ni mingi, see the same like the way I used to do at home. So kazi ni mingi.
Transition aren't just about doing something different. A career transition is a lifestyle redesign that often entails rethinking how you want to feel at the end of the day, how you want to spend your time, and how this relates to your long-term goals. When you feel this need for change, it is not necessarily related to more money, but your inner voice whispering that you could do more, be more, experience, and achieve more.
Welcome back. As mentioned, I am joined with 2 ladies. I'm joined by ladies who have actually taken the plunge. COVID-19 was not what initiated the innovators in them. They have been doing this and they've been doing this for years. Of course, this came with its own set of challenges and milestones. And today, we want to hear their story. What led them to here? What is the inspiration? So that you at home, if you're thinking of making the plunge, you can, of course, learn from them. So right next to me, I'm joined by Betty Motwiri. She may look familiar and you will find out why a little bit later. And she is the CEO of Liga Holdings Limited. Karibu sana, Betty.
Thank you.
And next to her, I have Nyabora Monywa, who is the founder and executive director of Dogidhi Handmade and other. Of course, I cannot fail to acknowledge my wonderful audience. Thank you so much for taking time away from your busy schedules to sit with us today to discuss this issue and others. We will, of course, be engaging you on the second part of the show, where you will get to pose your questions and your feedback to my wonderful panel. Karibuni sana. So, to get the ball rolling, we will start off, actually, like I mentioned, I feel like I did not give you guys the due worth of introductions. So I will give you guys this opportunity to actually introduce yourself before we get into what made you guys, shift. Okay, karibu sana, Betty.
Thank you so much, Ashiko. My name is Betty Motwiri. I have studied journalism and media studies from the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, where I did my diploma. And from the Nairobi University, I did my degree in journalism and media studies. I worked for over 10 years in the media, starting with this station, yes. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, where I was a continuity announcer. I moved to the Nation Media Group, NTV, where I did production, video editing, and I was also a news anchor. I went to K24, still doing news anchoring. I was doing the 7 o'clock news in Swahili. And I think after 10 years of working as an employee, I opted to shift to business full-time. And currently, I'm the founder and CEO of Liga Holdings Limited. This is a company that deals with cleaning services, general supplies, landscaping, fumigation, sanitary bins. And currently, we are in over 30 counties out of the 47 counties in Kenya with employees, roughly 600.
Wow.
Countrywide, we have our head offices here in Nairobi and branches in several counties, namely Meru and Mombasa. And I'm happy.
You're happy
to sit on the other side now, from an employee to an employer, and putting a smile on several families.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure if they're watching you, because if we're talking about 600, over 600 employees, wow, Betty, I'm sure they're watching and they're saying, thank you so much for that plunge. We liked watching you on TV, but thank you for putting foods on our table. So I'll pose the same question, and actually I will give an opportunity to Nyambura as well to also introduce herself, tell us what she does currently.
Hello viewers, thank you so much Ashika for having me on set. My name is Nyambura. I'm the founder and executive director of Dogidi Handmade. Dogidi Handmade is a CBO, community-based organization, and we are in Laikipia County. We make handmade products mostly, and our flagship product is Dogidi. Dogidi is an indoor pair of socks. You have to be cozy when it is cold. When it is cold.
Yes.
I live in a very cold area, and this is how I started the business. I was actually trying to find a solution for my feet. But before I became the founder and the executive director of Dogidi, I'm a demand planner by profession. And those people who might wonder who a demand planner is, this is in the supply chain profession. By the time you see a product on the shelf, a lot goes on the back end. You really have to think of where to get the raw materials, the lead times you have to calculate, and you have to project the supply and the demand side of the product before you even produce. So basically I was in manufacturing, and before I got into manufacturing, I was working for the government. I was a procurement officer for the government, and I left. In between, I have been a teacher in China, and I'm really, really grateful for that opportunity to teach in China, because it is where I got to learn about cottage industries and about small-scale manufacturing as we are trying to do, as we are trying to encourage Kenyans to do now. For employment, we have 79 women that we directly support under Dogidi. These are the knitters, these are the women who make the socks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, that's wonderful. It looks like you have it all figured out right now. But of course, by the time you were getting here, there was a journey. Because in light of, actually, in respect to the conversation today, before you were an entrepreneur, before you were the employer, you were an employee. Please, what was the thought process that ushered in the transition, your transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur? I'll start with you, Betty.
Yes, being a journalist, this is what I went to school to do. And I worked for 10 years. And I had achieved the qualifications, and every young person and everyone growing up, this is what you want to do in life. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a news anchor, be on TV. I wanted to be that nice looking girl. And I felt, yes, I achieved it. But at the end of it, I had my passion. There is that what I wanted to do. I had my dream. And the transition from being a journalist to a business lady.
It's a complete 360.
It's a complete turnover. Yes. It was not really easy, but I had to pursue my dream. And definitely, yes, there were setbacks, there were challenges, but you have to have the consistency to do it. You have to see it through, because definitely everyone needs greener pastures. You need growth in life. And for me, after achieving what I wanted to achieve professionally, I had now to chase my dream. And I remember back then, almost 10 years back, the story was really different. This is me getting everything that I get. I had a salary at the end of the month, which was good. I cannot complain. But at that time now, I felt now, my dream has to come. And who has to carry it is me. Make a decision. Leave employment, get the challenge now. And I remember back then, I started even from the boot of my car. I would do tenders there. I had around 4 employees. And to start, of course, maybe to me being everything. And my story in media is, I told you earlier, I was a producer, I was a video editor, I could be a news anchor. I had learned being an all-rounder person. My qualifications from the university, the HR aspect of it, had also helped me push my dream, how to deal with people. And I knew I wanted to do housekeeping. I want to deal with people. And now starting that dream was not really easy, but the push, the aggressiveness that I think I possess helped me do it. And on the other side also, business, from where I sit, has better returns. And we know everyone in life today, you want to live well, you want to do something good. Apart from chasing your dream, putting smiles on people, you also want good returns. So after that idea, definitely you need capital to start. You need the push, you need the people, and I got that. It was not paying at once because you invest, but the results is not automatic. So you also need some virtues, patience, you need hard work, you need prayer, you know, you need the right network, the right connections to be wherever you are. And I'm glad 10 years down the line, I believe I can say I'm an example or a testimony of a good choice or a good decision to transit from employment to an employer or to business.
To business.
Yes.
You really, surely you are. I mean, you have to agree with that, because if you're talking about moving from employment to employing 600 people, I think you made the key decision. So speaking of decisions, Nyabura, in your opinion, what do you think, and we will come to what is your decision, but what do you think is some of the reasons that women, because you interact with very many women, what are some of the reasons that women choose to transit from employment to entrepreneurship? You know, starting of course with your reason.
Thank you so much, Ashiko.
Yeah.
I was pushed into doing what it is that I'm doing. I never sat down and decided, now Nyambura, it is time for you to do the Gedi. I was here for my holiday, winter holiday. That was in 2020. I came visiting, and of course I had my flight back, but COVID happened, and we all know what happened with the pandemic. Nobody could go anywhere, flights were stopped, life stopped. I don't live in Nairobi, I live in the village for a reason. Well, I love village life. And these came with challenges and opportunities as well. Being in the village, you are out there, and you find that you are out of the radius, the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Being in the village has, how do I put it? Being in the village led me into starting Dhogidi because I started with what I had.
Yes.
I did not start with what I wanted in business. I started with what I had at that time, and this is what we're encouraging people in business. Some of the reasons I believe people, women especially, do move into business is number one, like myself, losing your job. So many people lost their jobs in 2020. The economy plummeted, everything came to a standstill. We have another segment who want to be present in their children's lives. You find that the challenges that we are going through as parents, new age parents, is having a long-time nanny. You know, these days, even when you go to social media, you hear women say, oh, and especially in January.
Yes.
Wako wamerudi, kama wako
Wako
wamerudi,
wamerudi.
you're sorted. Please clap for,
Yeah,
you're
because
good
they
to
could
go.
leave for the Christmas holidays and not come back.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, the turnover, the house girl turnover, has an impact on small children. Every time a child is trying to zoea a house girl, after 2 weeks, another one is coming, na huyo mwite auntie, another 2 weeks, another 3 weeks, So that has challenges, and you find that there are women who, together with their husbands, decide, you just stay at home, take care of the families. Others are forced into business, say, if the husband dies and leaves a business. You find that these women weigh the pros and the cons of being in employment versus running the business, and you find some find it more advantageous continuing with the businesses their husbands were running. So I believe those are some of the reasons that push women into business. Others, of course, they just decide, no, employment is not for me.
Yes.
There's somebody who went to college knowing very well what it is that they want to do in life, and they want to do business. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, I have a question for you, Betty, because we are talking about everything that just looks nice and rosy, and you left this and you joined this, and of course everybody is sitting down with a misconception that this was a very easy journey for you. I want, what are some of the misconceptions that you feel that society has in regards to transiting from employment into entrepreneurship? Because I know someone is sitting down thinking, maybe, for women it's easier, maybe because she's in the media, maybe because of ABCD. What are some of the misconceptions that you have dealt with, or that you have seen people dealing with, already have, in regards to the shift?
Ashiko, moving from point A to B, it's not easy. There are challenges that come with it. There are setbacks that come with it. But it all depends on the person that is doing that move. First of all, like me in business, challenges like capital was one of them. This is a business that you're starting. The idea seemed huge. This is totally different, a 360 turn from whatever I was doing. So here you need capital, you need to invest, and you do not expect to see the results immediately. You invest, I'm in service, in provision of service. You have employees that you have to pay at the end of the month. You have not made enough profit to pay them. So you need money aside that will be able to pay those people. You have the admin, the office, the people that are in the office, you need to pay them. So capital is one of them. So from employment, do you get it from your savings? Do you get from other sources? Do you get it from loans in the bank? In the bank, that is one of them. Number two, there is competition. You're not the first one to get into that industry.
Yes.
There are people you've met there. The gender is broad, male and female. You'll apply for tenders. 50 of them, you get 2. How do you deal with competition? You have to push. You have to be aggressive enough. You don't have to give up. Number 3, this is a dream that you've come with. This is an idea. This is your passion. You're dealing with human resource, putting your vision to someone so that they carry your dream. Because we deal with cleaning services.
Yes.
I bet you will not go to clean. I will need someone to go and clean. I will not come to your house and do for you landscaping. I will need someone trained, qualified to do that. How do I carry that vision that I need this carpet so clean, I need these washrooms so clean? I have to put that. That involves a lot of trainings that we do for our staffs. We need monitoring for them and work with them as a team. You have to go down to their level. So that is one thing also. The other thing, there is the stereotype about women. In business, as a woman, you need to do ABCD to get this, to get tenders, to qualify. But with time, you have to get the muscles, You have to be strong enough and say no. What a man can do, a woman can do. So there are several challenges that you go to, but once you're transiting, it doesn't have to be more on what you want to have. It has to be a passion that you have, push it, and be consistent on it. Work hard, and you will overcome the challenges.
Oh, wow, that's really well put. Nyabura, just still on the question of misconceptions, especially in the space that you are at, because you're a social entrepreneur. maybe first of all, we start by defining what is a social entrepreneur. Of course, you do work, you do engage, in the CBO space. But what is a social entrepreneur, and what are some of the stereotypes and misconceptions that you have experienced along the way, especially in this space?
Thank you again, Shiko. A social entrepreneur is a person who does business over and above personal benefits from the business, something that is going to benefit the community within which he or her exists. So this is not just about you, the entrepreneur, it is also about the community in which you're living in. How do you make your community better? How do you leave the community better than you found it? How do you give to your community? So that is who a social entrepreneur is. And the biggest challenge in this kind of a business is public misconceptions.
Yes.
When we started in 2020, and remember we had 2022 elections. So people will view you as wewe ni nini unataka, wewe kuna kiti unataka, wewe kuna kitu inakuleta hapa, It's either you're vying for office
or you're trying to front somebody.
Yes, or you want to defraud the members of the public. One of the reasons why I operate from Nyahururu, to be very specific, is because that is where I'm born and brought up. So these women have seen me grow up. These women know me. They know where to find me. So I think that made it easy for Dogivi to be where it is today, and also to convince these women to get them to buy into the vision of Nyambura. Otherwise, if I started in another place like in Nairobi, I don't think we would have had that kind of an impact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really wonderful. But now let's discuss. We've already talked about the challenges. Now let's move on to happier times. What are some of the milestones and celebrations that you have experienced? You've got 10 years under the belt. You have, is it 4?
2.
2.
Yes.
When was COVID? So let's start off with you, Betty. What are some of the things that we can celebrate? Because we've been sounding very gory about misconceptions and challenges, and everybody who's sitting at home is thinking, niko shua ninataka kufanya hii kitu. But let us, what are some of the things that you celebrate?
Ashiko, self-independence is there in business. With my experience from being an employee, 10 years in the media, and now 10 years in business, I am the person that gives directions to several people and also to several clients. Because here, as Liga Holdings, we are the middle. We have the client that we work for, and we have the employees that we look for after. So if I fail with my self-independence on the direction that I give them, the company fails, the client fails, the employees fails. So this is also something that you're happy with, you're calling the shots, but it's also on the other side can be a challenge, because you really have to be positive to give the right direction. Make sure the client's offices are clean and they're happy. Make sure that the 600 staffs that you have are doing their job well, and also they are going home happy. So imagine that network of 600 people with their families, they are happy, you also go home as a happy person.
So there's a huge sense of satisfaction.
There is a huge sense of satisfaction when you do it the right way, because self-independence comes with discipline. Number 2, as a lady, I'm happy to know that I can have a company that is making people go home happy and prove the issue and the stereotype that women can also do it. I did the right choice. So that is one thing that I think is good in business. Number 2, hard work pays. Hard work pays. We started from 2, but because of hard work, not for me alone, several people who are even not here, several people that represent the company, hard work pays. We see the results. We see our clientele has grown. Our staffs have grown. So those are small things that I can say we have done it. 3, and dreams are valid.
Dreams are valid. You've been able to accomplish your dream. I mean, that's definitely
dreams
a huge
are valid.
milestone. Anyone
can do it. Anyone who wants to transit from employment or from whatever business. You can start one business, it fails, you can always go to another business. But all this is about hard work, self-discipline, and consistency.
Thank you. And I really hope that, and I do believe that, and it may sound like cliche, but it's definitely not. I mean, because, you know, the proof is in the pudding. Now, before we go on break, Nyambura, if there's someone who's watching us right now, and they're sitting and they're looking at these beautiful ladies, and these beautiful ladies are doing things, they're making tracks, they're baking stereotypes, you know, they're you know, you're making the way, you're creating the way for other women behind you. What advice would you give to somebody who is just thinking, especially because it's a Dadas show, you know, granted it's going to be women. Yeah, you know, what advice would you give to a woman right now who is thinking of making the plunge? She's been thinking about it. She does not know if she should. She's scared. You know, please.
Thank you again, Ashiko. I was there. I was in that space before I was forced into doing whatever it is that I'm doing. There's always that issue of going, now I have a salary, what my sister here said. Now I have the comfort of a salary. What will happen when I don't have that kind of a salary? Will it work? I really need to put my act together, you know, like I need to start out right. I need to have a beautiful logo, a beautiful office. I mean, like, I need to be all together out there. I need to have a perfect, absolutely. I need to have a perfect product. I have some news for you. It may work, it may not work. You know, the perfection may work, it may not work. So what I will tell you, our viewer at home, is that just start with what you have. It doesn't matter what it is that you have. You just start. And I know people will tell me, no, I don't have the capital. Because again, like my sister has highlighted here about the issue of capital. There are so many ways of raising capital, and I will tell my story on how I was able to raise my capital. I did a campaign, a crowdfunding campaign. And I went out online. I already had my minimum viable product. I had made the pair of socks, and I wanted people to believe in that sock. So what I did is I went to my social media and I did tell people, please send me money. This is Nyambura Akuli Fair. I will not, you know, I'm a person of integrity.
Yes.
So what I'm asking you to do, because I had given up on my dream, on my Dogidi dream. What I'm asking you, if you really want to support us, please do send us a minimum of 1,500, which is equivalent of one pair. That is a reward-based crowdfunding. And we are going to send you in return to, I mean, you're worth 1,500 is a pair of socks, delivered to your doorstep. So this is what we did, and to date, I am forever grateful to Kenyans who listened to us, who sent us money. Ashiko, people used to send me money, people I don't know. The first person who sent me money sent me 15,000.
Wow.
And I was like, you mean somebody can send me 15,000 just for socks?
Yes.
You know, like, not that they are bad socks, or, I mean, it's not like it's a bad product. But, you know, as an entrepreneur, when you're beginning, and out there, I know the audience will resonate with me that when you're beginning, you really don't believe so much in your product.
In your product, you kind of keep feeling like there's other things that are better out there.
Yes.
People who are more organized than me. Yes.
So I was there, and so this is the one person who validated my dream. Yes, dreams are valid. She sent me 15,000 for 10 pairs of socks. And over and above, she gave me time to knit the socks and send her the socks. And she never at one time called me. Socks zimefika wapi? You know, like we are used to online businesses. Now watu wa online wanakulanga pesa, huyu hata simjui nimemtumia pesa. And I delivered the socks. I can tell you the business that I've gotten from this particular client. She brought in her sisters. She even came all the way to visit me and the women. She met them. Oh yes, wow. She has been so supportive. She and many others have supported us. So what you can do as a woman out there, you have a product, you have a business idea, please go out there, and the worst that can happen when you do ask is to get a no. Just that. And most likely it will be a yes. 85% people will always believe in your dream. So stop that woye, be out there, you know, kujiamini na kujituma. That is what we are saying now. Kujiamini na kufanya nini? Na kujituma. And over and above, be a person of integrity.
Thank you so much. I think that's a good place for us to go on break. I like what she said about umesema kujituma na? Kujiamini na kujituma.
Yes.
Because I think the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So of course, be a person of integrity, jitume, jiamini, and of course, you know, don't expect immediate returns. Follow your passion, hard work. That is my takeout from what the ladies have shared. So if you're there at home wondering, how do I do that? Then those are some of the tips that you can get. Of course, educate yourself, you know. There's the internet and books are a treasure trove of information on how people have started, on the things that you should and should not do. So also engage yourself, feel, you know, expand your knowledge and your horizons, visit other businesses, see how they're doing, how are they doing, how are they accomplishing this. Like she said, don't just jump in blindly and say, Nyambura made it, Betty made it, so I'm going to do that. So we are going to take a short break and then we'll be back to my favorite part of the show, which is the question and answer session where our audience interacts with the panel. Don't go far away. Welcome back to Dadas Show. We are on the second segment of the show, which is the question and answer session. Of course, even you at home, if you have your question or you have answers, reaction, feedback, and anything that you'd want to share with us, please engage us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. So we're going to jump right into the question and answer session because my audience is very excited to interact with our wonderful panel. To start us off today, we have Nicholas. He's a he for she moment. I always get very excited when I have gentlemen in our audience, you know. So to say that the show is not just predominantly for women, even men mumealikwa. Karibu sana, Nicholas.
Thank you so much, Ashiko. My name is Nicholas Ezofad. My question goes direct to both of them, that they are both ladies. Now, how would you advise a guy or a boy or a man who wants to start his own business, or maybe want to quit from employee to entrepreneurship?
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like Betty to pick up that question for men who are breadwinners and they want to shift. What would your advice be?
Thank you so much, Nicholas. Business, there is no man, there is no woman. Mm-hmm. The first thing, if you want to transit from employment to business, you have first to focus. You remove the stereotype of fear, oh, I was on salary, I don't know how it's going to be. Focus. Get the idea that you want to do. What do I want to do it? Why do I want to do it? How will I do it? When you answer all these questions, consult, have enough, be sure with yourself, this is what I want to do. Next, get capital. Capital, you can get it from anywhere. And in business, you can start from anywhere, however small. Then align yourself with the right people. Mm-hmm. It can be even a shop. The right people is your customers, your clientele. Align yourself with the right people. Then now, I'm sure for you to be, where you want to move is for greener pastures. Business is never hard. It pays.
Thank you so much, Betty. Nyambura, would you like to add something?
Yes, I'd like to add just a little bit. Thank you so much, Betty, for that advice to our young men. I am a mother to boys, and I'm a champion, I'm a fighter for boys. So to answer that question, I would advise you to start with what you have. Currently, we have so many opportunities in the village, in the counties, because devolution is working. Mm-hmm. Unlike before, where everybody believed that they can only make it when in Nairobi. So for the young man, I mean, life is difficult for everyone, and it is more difficult for the man. Mm-hmm. Let us be very honest, because the society expects you, the man, to have it all figured out. this wife, if you have a family, this wife and your children, they are all looking up to you. So what I would advise a young person, if you don't have sufficient resources, if you're able to move back to the village, kwenu nyumbani, if you have like a simba, I encourage people to build simbas huko nyumbani, because you never know what will happen in this Nairobi, you know. And from that simba, you can start your small cottage industry. Because remember, with the cottage industry, you have eliminated a lot of overheads, licenses, rent for the shop, rent for your house where you're living. And life is considerably very cheap in the village. So I would advise anybody who doesn't have sufficient resources to start in the village.
Thank you so much, Nyambura. You know, Nicholas, to also add on to what the ladies have said, and even from the research that we were doing when we were putting the show together, if you're a man and you are expected to be the person who's putting food on the table and you are employed, I believe that it's also very, very poignant for you to be able to communicate to members of your family and tell them that, you know what, I have decided that I'm going to leave this employment. Because of reason A, reason B, reason C. This is the idea that I have in mind. Get the support, because first of all, you know, for you to be able to start the journey of entrepreneurship, you really do need the support. And we're just not talking about financial support at first. We're even talking about emotional support, you know, from people who are in your family. So let's move on to the next question. And this was from Evelyn.
Yes, thank you very much. Congratulations, ladies, especially for Betty. I know it is not easy to leave a salary and dive into the deep seas. I was there in 2021 and I know how it feels even for the very first few months. And Nyambura, even for taking the opportunity to see this is what I can do and not just sit back and woye, you know. Congratulations for that. So my question goes to Betty, or rather it's not a question per se, it's maybe if she can advise startups, because hiring and getting the right people to run the business is something that is on another level. A lot of businesses get the wrong employees and they keep dragging them. What can you advise startups when it comes to hiring and firing, so that they don't end up with people that are not going to help them steer their dreams?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. Betty?
Thank you so much, Evelyn. When you have your idea, getting the right personnel, yes, it can be challenging. But there are different ways of doing it. As we in housekeeping, for us, we work with human resource. So mostly we have social handles that people send out their CVs. They come to the office, we evaluate them. There is networking also. You know, this is the business I am doing. This business, you're not the first one in Kenya to invent it. There are several people in the industry. You get your networks, get the right people. And to be sincere, Evelyn, Kenya kazi ni mingi sana na watu wa kufanya kazi pia ni wengi sana. So you just need to get the right referrals. Those people, when they come, what makes so many business fail, you have a website, people send their CVs there, their applications there. It is you as an employer with your team in the office to scrutinize those CVs, call those people, share with them their dream. Ivashiko, you remember what we were talking earlier, trying to put your dream, your passion to someone. That is the greatest challenge. And that challenge can either break or make a company. So when they come, you have your own style of leadership. Do trainings with them. Train them. Tell them what you expect from them. Okay? Give them targets, the do's and the don'ts. That is, you hire them now. There is what is called monitoring, on-job monitoring. Go to their level. See, are they doing what they expected to do? Are they doing what you, the dream career, would want to be done? So, and another says, if you can hire, you can fire. If you do not fire and you encourage your business to fail, it's not that person will fail. It's the company that will fail, and it will fail with all the networks you have, with all the clientele you have, and with all the employees. So the best employer is the one who can hire and the one who can fire.
Well put. Thank you so much, Betty. I think that's really well articulated. We have our next question or comment from Nyabura.
Thank you very much, Ashiko. As a woman in business, my name is Nyambura. I'm really proud of the two ladies. I know the story has not even been told, but I'm just thinking, and perhaps pose it to Nyambura, is that yes, the journey has begun. Nature abhors a vacuum. What plans do you have in terms of succession for when perhaps your back cannot be able to be as strong as it is, and you may not be able to think as fast as you can? So what plans do you have in terms of succession so that your business becomes a legacy to generations?
Thank you. That's a wonderful question. Nyabura?
Thank you so much, Nyambura, for your question. And succession planning is a big monster for startups because most startups are started by you, the vision bearer. And you find that in most cases, well, unlike Betty, congratulations, really proud of you. You started with 4 employees. Some of us had to do everything on our own. And you find that you being the vision bearer, you're the only one who understands where the business should be going, where the business is going. And if you do not have adequate support from your backyard, from home, it becomes very difficult. If God forbid you died, that business dies with you. So I would advise you in the startup to involve your family in all ways possible. So Nyambura, if you're able as a startup to involve your family, they will support you in your dream. Another way you can do your succession planning is we have this younger generation, and I believe in identifying talent. And these young people, you know, they have a lot of talent. They really have, they're so brainy, and I love them. If you're able to mentor 1 or 2 and bring them on board in every aspect of your business, I believe that will be sufficient succession planning.
Next, we have a question from Phineas.
I'll direct this question to Betty because you're in cleaning services and tenders and all that. You have to like establish quality relationships. You are just one relationship away from the tender you want, or one relationship away from the business success you're looking at. How do you ensure that your networking is really targeted to the right people, and how do you package yourself to be in a really good space with these particular right people? Yeah, and how can we implement the same? What can you advise us when it comes to relationship building?
The relationship you create in your business is what makes you fail or succeed. And for you, the relationship to be good, you have to offer what the clients want. Service delivery. For us in housekeeping, for my relationship to be good with my client, I have to give them what they want or go an extra mile, give them something different. How do you do it? In business, there are so many cleaning companies. What is my style? What different idea have I come with in the market? If we are using this detergent, what different have I brought? How are my employees? How do they look? If the clients want this carpet cleaned at 10, I should make sure I clean it at 9.
Thank you. I love that. I think it's already capitalizing on the networks you already have, and they will grow, especially if your delivery is up to par. So we've come to the end of today's show, and I want to thank my panelists for taking time from running the empires to sit here with me as we discuss this very important topic. And I also want to thank my audience. Thank you so much for your questions, your feedback, your reactions. Of course, it's very good to hear what you thought of the session that we had today. Even you at home, we're looking forward to your questions and your feedback on this particular show. Now, before we leave, I want to give both of my panelists at least 2 minutes to give us our parting shot in relation to their journey and what they have picked up and lessons learned. Actually, you know, just 2 minutes to share with us the lessons they've learned in their transition journey. We'll start off with you, Betty.
Yes, thank you so much, Ashiko. As a wife,
A mother of 3.
a business lady, I would say it has testimony that business works and it works for women. It's the time now, wanawake tujitokeze. We come and do business, and big time business. This is not about men, it's about women. We come out work and we can do it. We can do it. I'm sure women are the people who are most hardworking. I'm sorry to say that.
Yes.
We are more consistent, we are more aggressive. We do not need any favors whatsoever when it comes to men. What they can do, we can do it better.
Fine.
So wanawake tujitokeze, tufungue kampuni, tufanye kazi kwa bidii. And business works and it pays.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's really well put, Betty. That really, umeambiwa wanawake tujitokeze, tufungue kampuni, tufanye kazi. Tulishe dunia. Ni dunia ama ni
Jamii.
nchi? Jamii. My English is for borrowing water. And then, Nyambura?
Thank you so much once again. Just to add on to what Betty has said, I will say that entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. Ukikaa pale, you do not want to discuss with others what it is that you're doing. You know, I mean, I think we live in a very superstitious society that if you tell people what it is that you, watakuharibia maneno, you know, you find that if you live by that mantra, you will become very, very lonely, and you will find entrepreneurship to be very difficult. I'll give an example of a product that I started with. Initially in 2020, before the giving, we started in making unga, uji flour. And I had to drop it because I did not know, number one, how to go about the government regulations, how to look for packaging, and finding a last mile delivery partner, you know, that solution. So I had to close the business down. But before closing, I realized that there are so many other people like Nyambura out there, but I don't know where they are. So I went ahead together with my friends and we opened a group on Facebook. It's called Cottage Industries Kenya Arise, that primarily caters for people like us. And out of that community, I have learned so much, to the point that I had to start the unga business again. Because now I had sorted my packaging issues, I had sorted the government regulations issue, last mile delivery, and this is all because I purposed to interact with others, ask questions. People might tend to think that Kenyans are not giving. But if you come to our group, if you're a member of our group, you will testify and say that indeed people do give information freely. So yes, do join our community and other entrepreneurs within your space, and you will find the journey becoming less and less challenging.
Thank you so much. I like what you have pointed out, you know, and I think those are some key things. Those are the building blocks, in my opinion, of how to walk this entrepreneur journey. So, of course, like I mentioned, we have come to the end of today's episode. What were your thoughts of today's episode? What are your thoughts of our panelists and the journeys that they've taken so far? Do you have a journey that you would like to share, a journey from employment into entrepreneurship? Of course, reach us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. So on behalf of my wonderful team at KBC, our location partner, Ma Hotel and Suites, and myself, Ashiko Mbune, I want to thank you for joining us today on Dadas Show, and I will see you all next week, same time, same place. Have a lovely, lovely week. Bye-bye.